In the southeastern part of Nigeria lies a memory, a dream that never truly faded, a dream called Biafra, a dream of identity, of pride, a dream of a people searching for a voice. This is the story of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the man whose voice crossed oceans, whose radio waves stirred a movement, and whose fate was sealed today, 20th of November, 2025.
God will punish you now and forever. Let it be on record. Any judgment in this court is rubbish. Ask him where is the law. Ask him what to show. Where is the law?
Nnamdi Kanu was born on the 25th of September, 1967, in Isiama, Afara Uku, in Umuahia, Abia State, Nigeria. He was born the same year that bombs fell over Biafra land, declaring the Nigerian Civil War. Nnamdi Kanu entered the world in the middle of a war that would shape everything that he later became. He holds both the Nigerian and the British citizenship, a status that later complicated nearly every moment of his political journey. His parents were well known in the community. His father, His Royal Highness Israel Okudili Kanu, a respected traditional ruler. His mom, Ugeze Nene Kanu, a strong community woman known for her warmth and discipline. They raised their children under strict cultural values, truth, courage, and loyalty to the Igbo identity. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu attended the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, but his ambitions stretched far beyond the classroom. His generation grew up hearing stories of the Biafra struggle, stories told around fires, whispered by parents, repeated in songs and ceremonies. The stories of struggles, war, fights, wounds, death, and cries that last till eternity. When Nnamdi Kanu finished his education at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, he moved to the United Kingdom, where he found something powerful, a platform, a voice, a microphone. Nnamdi Kanu started the radio Biafra. Through this radio station, he reached millions of listeners, voices from Nigeria, voices from the diaspora, voices longing for the old dream. His broadcast was fierce, emotional, bold. Some called him a freedom fighter, others called him a troublemaker. But everyone knew one thing: his words were impossible to ignore. It was from this small studio that he helped revive the movement known as the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, a group determined to restore what they called their lost homeland. And so, the quiet young man from Afara Uku became something larger. He became a symbol, a leader, a threat, depending on whom you ask. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's political path took a sharp turn in London when he became the voice of IPOB, broadcasting messages of self-determination, messages of identity and resistance to oppression. It was through this platform that he built deep connections with Igbo youths and the diaspora, creating a base for something larger, the indigenous people of Biafra. By 2020, Nnamdi Kanu believed that IPOB needed to take more actions than mere talking. He argued that the Igbo people were under threat, especially from bandits, illegal herders, and insecurity in their land. On the 12th of December 2020, Nnamdi Kanu announced the formation of the Eastern Security Network, ESN. He presented ESN as a regional security force, not a militia, not a Biafra army, but as a protection network to defend communities, to defend forests, to defend farmlands, and to defend people. To Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and many IPOB supporters, ESN was deeply rooted in self-defense, modeled from other localized security outfits in Nigeria, like the Amotekun in the southwest, intended to shield Igbo communities from violence and insecurity. But to the Nigerian government, ESN was something else entirely, a terrorist entity, a paramilitary force challenging the authority of the state.
It is happening already. I warned you and I told you. You may disregard the agitation for Biafra and tag it as nothing. But I'm warning you today, if you continue, the wrath of God will be upon you. As I warned the zoo many years ago, if you don't allow we Biafrans to go, that zoological republic called Nigeria will be a worse place than Somalia. And today it is happening.
The tension was too much. Accusations soon followed. In August 2020, the Department of State Services, DSS, accused IPOB members of killing its officers. IPOB responded by accusing the same force of brutality. The Nigerian military launched operations to find ESN camps. According to reports, soldiers invaded areas believed to host ESN operatives. The cycle of accusation, counter-accusation, and violence deepened. For many in the southeast, however, ESN stood for something more than politics. It stood for dignity, it stood for survival, and it stood for identity.
And write your results, okay? Yes, that is the medical. If you have not done your medical, no problem. When you finish with us, they are still there. Go and do it, and they will record you, right? They will record your results. So I want us to be disciplined, okay? Yes, sir. Coming to a disciplined organization, I don't want noise.
The life journey of Nnamdi Kanu has been marred by a lot of court cases, accusations, and counter-accusations. His first arrest came in 2015. He was arrested by Nigerian authorities on treasonable felony charges. He was detained for 2 years, but later granted bail in 2017. Whilst on bail, he disappeared, leading to speculations and tension in Nigeria. On the 19th of June 2021, Nnamdi Kanu was rearrested in Kenya and subsequently extradited to Nigeria. He was remanded in the custody of the Department of State Services in Abuja, the DSS. On the 8th of April 2022, the Federal High Court struck out 8 of the original 15 counts that were levied against Mazi Nnamdi, ruling that they lacked substance. Many thought that this could be a turning point in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, but the case was far from being over. On the 13th of October 2022, the Court of Appeal quashed some of the charges and ordered the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. However, on the 15th of December 2023, the Supreme Court overturned the decisions of the Court of Appeal and restored 7 terrorism-related counts levied on Nnamdi Kanu for a fresh trial. In the month of March 2025, Nnamdi Kanu's case was reassigned to Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, following a request by Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers. On the 21st of March 2025, the trial began all over again under Omotosho. The Chief Judge of the Federal High Court had earlier written to Kanu's lawyers to confirm the reassignment. On the 22nd of May 2025, street court dates were fixed for the prosecution to close the case of Nnamdi Kanu. This included the 28th to 29th of May, the 6th, the 16th, and the 18th, and then the 19th of June. On the 18th of July 2025, the court adjourned to 10th of October for a ruling on a no-case submission by Kanu's defense. In October 2025, Kanu fired his defense counsel and chose to represent himself. On the 27th of October 2025, Nnamdi Kanu declined to open his defense or call any witnesses, stating that there was no valid law under which he was being tried.
Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says. Section what me? As simple as that. Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committing an act of terrorism.
Justice Omotosho ordered him to file a written address explaining his position. In November 2025, the trial reached its climax, and on the 20th of November 2025, Justice Omotosho declared a guilty verdict, convicting him on 7 counts and giving him life imprisonment. The trial of Nnamdi Kanu was without controversies. Several irregularities and accusations of political bias were exposed to the open. It was as if the judges involved were playing or dancing to the tune that was depicted by some players behind the scene. What we saw was a strong manipulation of the legal system of justice in Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu argued that there was no extant law in Nigeria under which he was being tried. This led to him challenging the court's jurisdictions. Kanu claimed that the charges, especially the charge on terrorism, were built on unwritten laws and that the applicable laws were even being misused by the judges. Irrespective of the strong arguments put forward by Nnamdi Kanu, Justice Omotosho rejected these arguments, stating that Kanu had already used the full 6-day period that was given to him to present witnesses and that the court had no choice but to close his defense. It even got worse that some of the lawyers present in the courtroom were suggesting to Omotosho that Nnamdi Kanu be executed and not given the leniency of life imprisonment. I want you to leave your comment in the comment section below. Is this an abrupt misuse of the judicial arm of the government?